The Western Conference champions are the Dallas Mavericks. They're going to the NBA Finals. They'll take on the Boston Celtics. And going to the finals for the first time in 13 seasons.
Good job. Understand, right? Way to accomplish. You did something right on the road. Way to go. Let's bring it in.
Yeah!
Yes, sir. Luka, what you got to say?
You guys on 3, 1, 2, 3.
30%. Luka drives on McDaniels with the lean, a foul, and a deuce. Counting. Foul.
And look, he's having words with Snoop right now. Snoop it.
All right.
How's that feel? Yeah, that's a couple of things to celebrate, to have that, to have the Magic Johnson trophy, but also you're going to the NBA Finals, Luka.
That's insane. But this trophy is the whole team, man. It's not me. It's the whole team. I see you. But no, this means a lot. We're going to NBA Finals. Just can't believe it, man.
I don't take this moment for granted at all. It took me 7 long years. 7 long years. Feeling amazing. Feeling amazing. I mean, if you look around, got our teammates, coaching staff, management, got everybody here that's been riding with us all year. You know, it's been a heck of a journey. It's just a pit stop to get to the ultimate goal. But we don't want to take these wins for granted. We really earned this. You know, we didn't back down at all. We played against great teams all the way through the Western Conference. Shout out to our respective opponents. Shout out to all the great players we played against. They got us better. They got us prepared. And now we're on the final stage. So, hey, we celebrate this one, but the work continues. The journey is the reward. Shout out to my all-even tribe out there, too, supporting us. Everybody in the world supporting.
The Dallas Mavericks are off to the NBA Finals. They have dealt with the Wolves in 5 games, and I must say, this was something that was inevitable, it was expected. And the way I watched Game 5, I just saw a very huge 15-point lead, 17-point lead from the Dallas Mavericks. And I just knew the game was over in the second half. And even in the first, the way the Dallas Mavericks started, there was no weak spot in their game. And when Luka Doncic just starts hitting, there's no way you can be able to stop him. And it was a relatively short series, a gentleman's sweep for the Wolves. And about a few days ago, I made a video talking about the Dallas Mavericks being up on the Minnesota Timberwolves. They were up 2-0. And this one, I just waited to see what will happen in Game 3, Game 4, and Game 5. In this video, I'll just do a compilation of what really happened in Game 3, Game 4, and the closeout Game 5 that led to this inevitable result. But before we get into that, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notified. I mean, help your brother out, man. Give me the HBO special, help a brother out special. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a ton. And without further ado, let me just get into it. So this is going to be quite a long video, and I will just leave, some timestamps where players talked, the NBA media talked. There will be a couple of videos with the NBA on TNT team talking, some ESPN analysts talking, also the players talking. And we're going to start off in Game 3.
How much have you learned from him, just going through these playoffs and the way he performs in these games and throughout this partnership you've formed?
A lot. Right now we were winning by 9. The last possession, I told him I'm tired. And he told me that's the way it's supposed to be, And he brought that calmness to our team, to me, the maturity, and it's been unbelievable to have him on our team. Just learning from him every day, positive energy always. So just a blessing having him on our team.
I thought he could have been a little better with his decision making, but this isn't about Anthony Edwards tonight. Anthony Edwards played great basketball. At some point, Chris Finch got to make an adjustment. You keep rolling the same guys out there with the same game plan each game, and you falling behind 3-0. So at what point are you going to make an adjustment? Not worry about feelings. We can't worry about Karl Anthony Towns' feelings or Rudy Gobert's feelings. They need Nas Reed out there. They need Kyle Anderson out there. And the way you got to figure that out. And he has not done a great job, and he's blaming his guys, and that's not good.
Yeah. What was your thought process when you saw Rudy Gobert with the turnaround jump shot in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, it was a heck of an ATO we drew up for him. Yeah, I mean, listen, you need that, you know. He made one of those in game one, too. He made one of those in game one. So I was happy for him because it made up for the fast break layup that he missed. So.
The Timberwolves are not down in this series because Anthony Edwards is not Michael Jordan. He's not. He's his own player. But they are down because their head coach, Chris Finch, is doing a terrible job right now. And that terrible job started halfway through the Nuggets series when they made a defensive adjustment and stopped letting Anthony Edwards get to the basket as easy. And Chris Finch has not been able to figure out how to get this man easier shots. Bad coaching. Second problem is, tell Karl Anthony Towns, get your big ass back down in the paint and stop shooting all these three-pointers. But he's a 40%. He's shooting 4 for 32 right now. And he needs to exploit the Mavericks playing small. Go get some buckets and stop trying to be Steph Curry, man. So Chris Finch, if you always do what you always done, you will always get what you always got, which is your ass and your team sitting in Cancun. You got to do something different. Make an adjustment. Fight back, man. Damn.
Thanks for your patience, big fella. Now, what was on your mind?
I like these guys. They're being nice, but they're not telling the truth. When you have a great 1-2 punch, you want your stat line to be 1, 33, the other guy 33. Karl Anthony Towns has not played well, and he's not stepped up. He's not helped Ant Edwards out. I play with guys that dominate the ball, and you just adjust to the decision-making because you know what they're trying to do. You know they're trying to help me get to the next level. But as the other player, as the other part of the superstar tandem, you have to do your job. And Karl Anthony Towns has not stepped up. 0 from 8 from 3 is unacceptable. After you shoot 2 threes and it don't go down, take your big ass in the lane and do what Chuck has been talking about.
The problem with that,
go ahead. No, the coach, putting it on Ant 22. No. When you got a 1-2 punch, both of them have to play great if you want to, continue on and on and on.
The problem with that is I actually don't think Ant-Man has dominated the ball. If anything, I think he's gotten off of it too much.
He has.
Now, Cat won't have the same amount of minutes, seconds that Ant has the ball because he's bringing it up. But I think when Cat touches the ball, it's actually sticking more than when Ant had the ball. So I don't know. Obviously he needs to get to the rim, but he's just not answering the bell. And this is who Cat's been in his career, where when the going gets tough, they say he'd go the other way. So you got to figure that out.
I don't care who got the ball. You can't go 0 from 8 from 3.
So he can't effing guard you, huh? Sorry? He can't effing guard you? Who said that? You said that. I didn't say that. I was speaking Slovenian. Take us through.
As a guard, a Michael, a Kobe, give me some other guys.
T-Mac,
Steph Curry. There's no such thing. You can't stop great one-on-one players because you can make them take tough shots, but they're going to get the shot they want. Kyrie and Luka are going to get the shot they want. I've never met a great offensive guard. Like, you can play, like Dan Martin's the best defender I probably ever played with. But we played the Bulls. And he made Michael work. Michael still got 35, 40, 50 points a game. You can make them work hard, but they're going to get a shot every time. And to piggyback on Kenny's point, those guys, they are probably the 2 best closers. Or, wait a minute, I don't like throwing to get caught up on. They're in the conversation in the NBA today. Steph is in that conversation. I'm not who all's in that conversation. Dame Lillard's in that conversation. But they're like, you're going to have to think about it. Those guys going to get a shot every single time.
Fried catfish, yams, collard greens, mac and cheese, cornbread. These are braised oxtail, and these are neck bone.
So as a guard, when the big guy switches, do you say to myself, I'm going to wiggle him, jiggle him, shoot a jumper, or I'm going to try to get to the lane or, have the defense draw and then kick it to somebody else?
I think that depends who's guarding me. There's a lot.
You have the defensive player of the year on you.
Yeah. He's long, he can't move. I can't move fast, but I can move faster than him. So, like I said, just get to my spot, man.
So
ever since I was young, I've always felt like I'm one of the best in the world because I'm able to play with other great players. I don't ask for the ball, I'm demanded. I will play defense. I will do all the other things that don't show up in the stat sheet, and that's always what I've wanted to be remembered as. Everything else that people have thrown on my career has been up to them and what they've seen, and I have to take that. I have to take that fair criticism. But how I feel as a person when I go out there is a confident MFer that will play with the best of the world. I don't care who's out there. It could be Wilt, MJ, Steph, Bron, whatever team. And I feel like, if I get a few of my friends from around the way, hey, we might not have a chance that day, but I think just enjoying the game and the competition is what comes with it. So that's really what I'm getting at. It's just enjoying the competition and enjoying, the failures and the success that come into.
You think he's upset? No, he's not upset at all. Okay. The thing that's about to happen to them, I'm probably the biggest named superstar that's been swept 5 times. The fact that he's not upset that he played terrible shows me he's not ready yet. I play with guys like Kobe missed the last shot, you better not say nothing to him on the plane. Penny Hardaway missed the last pass, you better not say nothing to him on the plane. I missed 2 to 3 free throws, don't say nothing to him.
Oh, dang, he went right back into that.
You saw that, right?
Back in that zone. That would have been a good night.
So, all that shit, forget all that.
Hey, you've been swept 5 times?
Yeah, I've been swept 5 times. Still got four more rings than you, baby.
You got swept 5.
DJ, multiple times you've said that being a Dallas Maverick was your dream growing up. What about Dallas so far? It's only been a couple months, but does Dallas feel like home in a basketball sense, and what have you loved so much about playing for the Mavs?
Just the way the city embraces me. Everybody's supportive. Everybody's there for me each and every game. Credit to my teammates, credit to the fans. And it's just been all love since I got here. So I'll give anything for this team and this organization, and it's just great to have that same energy from the fans as well.
Like I said, I know I'm putting I gotta laugh. I'm putting up to 1,500 shots a day, and shot so well all playoffs. Confidence extremely high, and to be having these unfortunate bounces and these looks that are just not going in, it's tough. It's tough for sure. I'm glad. Confidence-wise, I just got to keep shooting.
I think he's shown it over and over. Whether he's made them or missed them, he's taken them, and that's the confidence you need to have, especially in those clutch situations. You got to have that confidence, and you can't be thinking about anything else other than your mechanics and your fundamentals, and putting us up ahead to give us that separation, to give us that peace of mind. So when he's getting it going and he's making threes, or he's driving to the basket, and he's getting to the free throw line, and it creates opportunities for all of us. And when he gets it out in transition, he starts going, and we see Luka get up, down, and get into his Luka sprint. That makes a big deal for us, and it makes a big difference for us, and makes my job a lot easier, especially when I'm coming in transition and those guys are a little tired. So, again, we don't play your turn, my turn, but when we get those opportunities to push in transition or get Luka ISO on the wing or at the top of the key, it's our time to take advantage of it.
Stretch there. Terrible offense down the stretch. Bad shots, turnovers, no composure. And thought for the same at the end of the first half. We haven't really closed quarters very well, closed halves very well over the last handful of games. It cost us one game in the Denver series. It certainly had an impact on this game tonight too. So we got to be better in clutch moments.
This is going to go up 3 games to none, and as we said, no team has ever come back from that kind of deficit in NBA playoff history. 66 combined points. Doncic, Irving, absolutely spectacular.
At the time, the Dallas Mavericks were up 2-0, and this game, it ended 116-107. So Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving each scored 33 points, and the Mavs beat the Wolves for a 3-0 lead in the West Finals. And this performance was so good because after stealing both Game 1 and Game 2 in the Timberwolves' home floor, they stole those 2 games at the Wolves' crib, as Anthony Edwards came out and said that. There was a high likelihood that the Dallas Mavericks were not going to drop Game 3 because they are going to play back at home. So look at Doncic. He lunged for the ball after a steal by Anthony Edwards, knocking it far away enough to create a scramble and a jump ball. The Dallas Mavericks superstar won. So look at Doncic. Despite even having some leg injury, he had some leg issues in that OKC series. his body still, he was just going through it, but the heart of a champion that he had and the playoff experience that he's had, this is the second time we have seen him just have those good runs. The other good run he had was in the 2022 playoffs, where he made it all the way to the West Finals, but he got beat by the eventual champions, the Golden State Warriors. But the Dallas Mavericks made all the big plays again on both ends of the court, and at the time they were one win away to their first trip to the NBA Finals in 13 years. The last time the Dallas Mavericks were in the NBA Finals, winning their first title in franchise history, was in 2011. I know this all too well because at the time I was supporting the Miami Heat, and I was very crushed when the Dallas Mavericks won. And I've always felt some type of way about the Dallas Mavericks because of that championship. But given this year with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, the best duo in the league, I know a lot of people don't want to give them their flowers and credit, but I must say right now they are the best duo in the league, and there's no team that can be able to stop their offensive power of Luka Doncic and Kai. And a lot of people, especially in the NBA media, was very skeptical about this signing, but I must say this duo is the best. I don't want to say all time because we have a couple of duos that have won and lost in similar ways, but you can see at this point in time in this season, Luka and Kyrie are the best. So Luka Doncic and Kyrie scored 33 points apiece, and the Dallas Mavericks put together a decisive run in the final 5 minutes to beat Minnesota 116-107 on Sunday night for a 3-0 series lead in the Western Conference Finals. So the 14-3 finish gave the Mavs a 5th consecutive playoff victory after Derek Lively left with a sprained neck when the rookie center took an accidental shot at the back of the head from Karl Anthony Towns' knee. So that was actually quite insane that it happened. And at some point I was shocked because Derek Lively, he has been one of those guys that has sparked a lot, especially when it came to the Dallas Mavericks front court. And having him not being there, and it would have tipped the scales of the series. But still, the Dallas Mavericks still were able to pull through. So no team in NBA playoff history has rallied from a 3-0 deficit, 0-3 deficit, because we saw the only team that was that close was last year, the Boston Celtics and Miami Heat. They almost did the impossible, but no team has been able to come back down from an 0-3 deficit. So Luka Doncic came out and said, don't even say it. Who will try to clinch their first trip to the NBA Finals in Game 4 on Tuesday night in the Dallas Mavericks. But it feels great. We've got to think about the next game, got to play with the same mentality. They are not going to go away, no way. So PJ Washington, who scored 16 points at the time, put the Dallas Mavericks ahead for good on a tie-breaking corner 3 with 3:38 remaining after Doncic passed to Irving, who sent the ball to Washington. So the Co-Stars took over from there, and Luka Doncic hit a shot in the lane for a 4-point lead. Kyrie Irving sent the crowd into a frenzy on a falling down jumper, and Luka Doncic found Daniel Gafford for an alley-oop dunk and a 113-105 lead with 34 seconds left. Gafford had to block Mike Conley's layup attempt at the end. So that was a very good defensive exhibition and both offensive exhibition. They were just two-way all in there. So they're trying to double me the whole game, trying to double Kai, so that just makes us better. So Luka Doncic came out and said that everybody touches the ball, everybody plays. We come down to the stretch and we execute it. So Anthony Edwards, he had 26 points for the Wolves, but just four after scoring 8 consecutive points on Minnesota to get the Wolves even in the third quarter. So Anthony Edwards, he also came out and said, I never think the sky is falling. I'm always positive, always happy, been through the works, so the sky is never falling for me. So Anthony Edwards just trying to find that silver lining when the Minnesota Timberwolves are down bad. And I must say, there are a couple of things I even said even in the previous video, even when I was looking at the Celtics and Pacers series, the grueling 7-game series that the Wolves and Pacers had in the second round was the main reason as to why they couldn't even find their legs for the next round. They poured everything into that series, and at some point they were not able to figure out a way to be able to recoup that energy back. But still, they still had a fighting chance, And looking for this video, they went ahead and won game 4, which I'm going to look at in a moment. But Towns scored 14 points, but missed all 8 threes, including a rushed 27-footer early in the shot clock when the deficit was 4 with 1:25 remaining. So after taking a 104-102 lead on Carl Anderson's floater with 5 minutes to go, Minnesota, which couldn't hold leads for 18 points in the first half and 5 points in the final 90 seconds for game 2, missed 7 consecutive shots. So Coach Chris Finch, he came out and said, you've got to try to score alongside 4 of them. So he also added, the whole series we've struggled to close games. These 3-minute games that we are playing, we're losing. So there's a lot of things that happened in that game, and I must say the Minnesota Timberwolves were just down bad, and they were just in a win or go home situation after this game, and they had to find a way to respond.
Well, Anthony, how heavy is that weight that has now been lifted off your shoulders?
It haven't been lifted off. I mean, we still got a lot of work to do, man. We just wanted to get one game to extend the series.
When that foul happened on Luka, what was going through your mind? How bad were you beating yourself up?
No answer, man, because it's crazy. No answer.
You were different before this game. You were loose. You said, it's not time to go home yet. What felt different about tonight?
I mean, I ain't never been swept in my career. C. Hines texted me this morning and told me that even though I've been to the playoffs only 3 times, I've never been swept. So, you know, I took it personal, man. I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to get swept. I definitely didn't want to get swept. Not on their home court, hearing the fans talk trash all day. So, I mean, I think we came out and we competed at a high level today.
Adjustments, and they need to get back to the drawing board.
You know what's interesting, Ernie? The Mavs going to play small no matter what. So Minnesota waited. They said, we're going to go small. The Mavs like, okay, that's what we do better than anybody. They probably play small better than any team in the league. But what's interesting, you go back to the Eastern Conference.
Any team that's playing currently.
No, I'm talking about to the Eastern Conference. The reason you have stars, they're supposed to be your closers. That's what separates NBA teams. Your great players got to close. But if you go back and look at those last 2 Indiana games, they played great the first X amount of minutes, and then they couldn't have a star to close down the stretch. That's what the difference is. Minnesota guys aren't closing. Luka and Kyrie are closing. You go back and look. Indiana's outplayed them. They should have won game 1, obviously, but they should have won game 3 and 4. They had big leads, but they didn't have a closer, and that's what's separating these teams now.
You told somebody in the hallway you're seeing for game 6. Where does that confidence come from?
What am I supposed to say? I'm supposed to say we're going to lose game 5? No, I'm not going to never say that. Michael Parsons, you know, he was rocking the AE1s, and I told him he wears size 14. I'll bring back some nice shoes for game 6. That's what I told him.
Also, listen, and Shaq talks about it, Karl-Anthony Towns played ball tonight. We can talk about this and this and this. Dallas had the lead going, but Karl-Anthony Towns, we've been waiting on him. Shaq's been saying it, you know, your stars have to play like stars. He's been awful in the series, plain and simple. He saved the Timberwolves season tonight. So just give him his flowers. He deserves it. You know, we criticize him. He doesn't play well. We got to give him his flowers because without question, he won that game for them tonight, and it was
their team.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, he had a big game, but also, as you guys always say, is your best players have to play great.
Carl, this was obviously a tough start to the series. Just what did you feel? Did you feel any differently out there tonight and being able to knock down the shots, or what came together for you?
Everything came together for him. He was super confident. He wasn't worried about any shots previous to the shots that he hit tonight. He played exceptionally well, and he came through big time. He was the reason we won tonight.
Elimination games for the Timberwolves this year.
And we've got to give Karl-Anthony Towns his flowers.
Connolly kind enough to join us after this victory. And Mike, you just heard me describing how similar this was to me to the Indiana-Boston series, in that, I mean, Pacers got swept, and there's just no way in the world that was a sweep. This series read 3-0, but it felt so much closer than that. What was your sense as a group of how thin these margins have been and just how close you all were to what you got tonight, which was a breakthrough win?
Yeah, it's just been that. You know, the first 3 games have been decided in the last 3 or 4 minutes of the game, and we knew if we were going to have a chance to win, we had to take care of those last 4 or 5 minutes of a game. And Anthony Edwards and Cat, until he got in foul trouble, really carried us down the stretch, fourth quarter, and were able to make plays for us and big plays and kind of offset what Luka and Kyrie do. And hey, it's not a sweep. You know, we're going home. We're going to Minnesota, and we're gonna try to get this thing coming back to Dallas.
You get a chance to go back home as the leader. Your message to your group moving forward is what?
Hey, every game's a game 7. Every game's our last game. We have to fight. We have to push. We have to claw. We have to foul. We have to do whatever we got to do to win these games. Because we can't be thinking far ahead. We can't be thinking about game 6 or 7. Game 5 is on our mind. It's the only one that matters. We're gonna need every single guy locked in, 1 through 15. Our energy has to be at an all-time high. This is a great Dallas team, and they make you pay when you're not ready to play. So, we have no choice but have our back against the wall and try to go get it.
Jaden McDaniels, you got the win, heading back to Minnesota for a Game 5. Just tell us about the mentality, all the pressure heading into this one. What was the mentality heading into this game?
Kind of just go out there, have fun. I mean, we've been winning a lot of these games throughout the series, just slipping in the fourth quarter. So Coach Meister, just go have fun, defend, and whatever happens, happens. So we still playing, so just keep it going.
Mike Conley is over here, y'all. Y'all got any questions for Mike? Y'all want to ask me about Mike? Nobody want to ask me about Mike? Bye.
How about Mike, especially in the first half? It seemed like he really
is old as and he was getting downhill, laying the ball up. So shout out to Bite, and he coming in here with these clown pants on. So y'all about to see him in a minute, but that's my OG, that's my point guard. He played great tonight, and I couldn't ask nothing more from him. So thank you, Mike Conley.
A long time with the 5 fouls tonight and still found a way to score. And
I'll tell you about 5. Bro.
What you mean you had 5?
But I didn't foul out.
You fouled out. I did what I needed to do.
I'm going to beat him up on the bus, y'all.
Get out of here. Don't believe that.
They did, because in Game 4, the Minnesota Timberwolves went ahead and won this game. It was a clutch game. This game ended 105-100, and Towns, Edwards, they lifted up the Wolves over the Mavs 105-110 to avoid the sweep in the West Finals. But one thing that I saw before even you go to Game 5 was how this Dallas Mavericks team was very good, especially when you look at even the box score. A lot of players were just getting involved. You could see Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving had 33 points apiece. Derek Jones Jr. 11 points. PJ Washington 16. And you could see the offensive firepower that the Dallas Mavericks had was too much for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I know Minnesota Timberwolves, they have the reigning defensive player of the year, the reigning sixth man of the year. They have their all-star players in there. They've got veteran leaders like Mike Conley, who has been there. Got Naz Reid, he had 14. Kyle Anderson had 10. Anthony Edwards 26. Jaden McDaniels, a man who just came out of nowhere and has just been, sensational. He had 15 points. Karl Anthony Towns, he had 14 and 11 rebounds. So he had a double-double of his own. Not the most dominant double-double, but still, the score doesn't tell you everything, because you could see that Minnesota Timberwolves were just spent and they were just trying to get back in the series. And they were able to do that in Game 5 as Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards lifted the Wolves of the Mavs 105-100 to avoid the sweep in the West Finals. And I was very much excited to see the Wolves just respond, because it would be so embarrassing for them to go out in a sweep. I know a lot of people were not looking at the Pacers and Celtics series, because they just knew the end result even before, and they just said, you know what, the Pacers were just out. They are just way out of their depth, especially after the loss of Tyrese Haliburton. So there was no way that they're going to win that series. But if you look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, they had so much firepower and so much defensive presence. And this is a team that, give them full credit, they took out the defending champions. But still, you could see their roster, I must say, was the strongest roster in Minnesota Timberwolves franchise history. And I must say, Karl Anthony Towns, finally, he found his rhythm in the series, and the Timberwolves finally closed out a game in the Western Conference Finals in Game 4. And At the time, the Mavs were up 3-1. So now they head back to Minnesota at the time, and the whole expectation was to defend home court, which didn't happen, but we'll look into that following the videos. So Towns scored 20 of his 25 points in the second half, and the Wolves held off the Mavericks 105-100 on Tuesday night to avoid the sweep. So Anthony Edwards, he had 29 points and 10 boards and 9 assists as the Wolves still alive in their first trip to the conference finals in 20 years and just the second in the franchise's 35 season. So Game 5 happened Thursday night, but for me, where I'm watching from Nairobi, Kenya, so it happened in Friday morning. So Karl Anthony Towns, who was 28% from the field in the series coming in, was 9 of 13 from the field, including 4 of 5 from three-point range, and that was after picking up his fourth foul midway into the third quarter. So Karl Anthony Towns, he said, being aggressive. He also added, ain't no time to have any doubts in our minds, especially at this time in Game 4, down 3-0, ain't no time to have any doubts. At that point, the Minnesota Timberwolves were down bad, and they needed to respond and have something to fight for. And it was just trying to stay alive in the series. So Luka Doncic, he had 28 points, 15 boards, and 10 assists. His 6th triple-double of these playoffs. But he and his co-star Kyrie Irving were just 13 of 39 from the field. So you can see that in that game, the Dallas Mavericks were supposed to close out in a sweep, but they just didn't have a good scoring night in that game. So a lot of teams have those games, but they still had another shot to go ahead because there was no situation where the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to go ahead and win for 4 straight. I didn't see that situation given Kyrie and Luka Doncic's offensive firepower there. So Luka Doncic, he came out and said, that game's on me, just didn't give enough energy. And Luka Doncic at the time, he was 7 of 31 from the field, including 1 of 5 in the fourth, when he and Kyrie Irving combined as closers to bring the series lead. So they won one game. We just got to focus on the next one. So that's the mentality that, Luka Doncic had at the time. And I must say it was one of the best to have because you can't put your head down and you only need one game to go ahead and win. So the Wolves had led at the time in 5 minutes in the fourth quarter for every game in the series. And this time they went ahead and went for the kill and finish. So Towns put the Wolves ahead for good on a three-pointer in 5:41 remaining, then hit another from deep the next time around. His third three of the final quarter put Minnesota up 6 with 3 minutes to go. So Anthony Edwards, he came out and said he was super confident talking about Karl Anthony Towns. He wasn't worried about any shots previously or to the shots that he had hit tonight. He played exceptionally well. So Anthony Edwards put the Wolves up 5 with a jumper just inside the arc with 39 seconds left, and Minnesota hung on despite Edwards fouling Doncic on a made three-pointer for a 3-point Dallas deficit with 12 seconds to go. So it was a grueling game, and it was a clutch game. So Dallas Mavericks coach Jason Kidd, he came out and said it's hard to close in this league. And Jason Kidd said after his team shot 29% from 3 in the second half, understanding we didn't play our best, give Minnesota credit, they did. And the biggest signs of Towns' rhythm came in the third, where he scored 10 points in the first 7 minutes before picking up his 5th foul on elbowing PJ Washington Jr. in the face as Towns went up for a shot. So the Minnesota Timberwolves went ahead and just stayed alive in this game, and I must say full credit to them because a lot of criticism was coming on their side, especially on NBA mainstream media, TNT, I see you, and a lot of things just needed to happen so that they can just try to stay alive, and they're able to outlast and steal a game in the Dallas Mavericks home floor. So Chris Finch, he flirted with second technical, which would have meant an ejection a few minutes later. Then Edwards was called for his 4th foul, going for a steal against Daniel Gafford. So this whole series was just a roller coaster series for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I must say, even despite the result at the end, which I'm going to talk about in Game 5, give full credit to them, because the call against Towns prompted a technical foul against Minnesota's coach Chris Finch, and for the second row, where he's been confined since the start of the second round of the playoffs because of a knee injury that he required surgery. Assistant coach Mikanori had been roaming the sidelines, so he got injured there, and prayers up for him. So Mike Conley, he came out and said to have him to be on the sideline but behind the bench for the majority of these players, you forget the impact he could have. Talking about Coach Chris Finch. When your coach is getting technicals and yelling, and when you see him hobbling around to do it, it's impressive. He lit a fire in us. So the Minnesota Timberwolves, at the time, their energy was still alive, and I must say they're in a good situation, they're in a good place, and they are just trying to figure out a way to go ahead and win the next game.
What do we expect to see tonight now that they have stayed alive? I mean,
Ernie, I'm not going to lie. I'll be shocked if the Wolves don't win tonight. I will be. And I think they're going to win big. I'll be totally shocked. I mean, if they lose the game, I'll be totally shocked. But I expect them to blow this team out tonight. I really do. I think because they got such a lift. You know, if I'm them, man, all they got to do is get back to Dallas. But let me tell you something. If they get back to Dallas, like you said the other night, we got a series. Not yet. If they win tonight, we got a series. But if I'm these young kids, and if I'm Coach Finch, I'm like, guys, all we got to do is get back to Dallas, and I would be pumped for this game.
What?
The Western Conference champions are the Dallas Mavericks. They're going to the NBA Finals. They'll take on the Boston Celtics. And going to the finals for the first time in 13 seasons. 30%. Luka drives on McDaniels with a lean, a foul, and a deuce. Counting. Foul.
And look, he's having words with Snoop right now. Snoop.
All right. How's that feel? Yeah, that's a couple of things to celebrate, to have the Magic Johnson trophy, but also you're going to the NBA Finals, Luka.
That's insane. But this trophy is the whole team, man. It's not me. It's the whole team. I see you. But no, this means a lot. We're going to NBA Finals. Just can't believe it, man.
So it's a first trip for Luka. You've been to the finals before. This will be trip number 4, and you've won a championship. What's the best advice you can give to team members who have not experienced what you're about to experience?
Just enjoy the moment and realize how hard you work to get there. Nothing's guaranteed in this league, especially making it to the finals every year. We couldn't have done it without a collective responsibility. Us working together every single day, practicing hard, doing the little things. So we should reward ourselves by playing hard.
Exactly. I mean, and when you came to play with Luka, and there was a debate. Hey, how is it going to work, or is it going to work? What has made it so successful between the two of you?
We're a great team. It's not just about me and Luka. We said that since the beginning of the season. Without these guys supporting, without our ladies supporting us, we wouldn't be here. So shout out to everybody that does the little things for us to be prepared every single night. And it's our job to go out here and put our best foot forward.
You may have noticed that the finals will start in a place where you used to play, in Boston. You looking forward to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Boston's in the way in between our goals, so that's it, man.
Kyrie, congratulations.
Thank you.
And congratulations to everybody wearing the Mavericks colors tonight. The 2024 Western Conference champions heading to the NBA Finals against Boston. Congratulations, fellas.
But I got to say this. That was embarrassing. I'm embarrassed with these Minnesota fans. You go down there and you win that game, you don't get swept. These people think like, we might have a series. And like I say, I told you I'd be shocked if the Mavs won this game. I'm way past shocked the way they're winning the game.
Minnesota played with no sense of desperation.
No sense of desperation, and they have packed it in right now, Ernie. You, as a player, Ken and Shaq know, when it's an elimination game, you're flying all over the place. The Mavs are flying all over the place like they're trying to get this thing over. I'm at a loss of words how bad Minnesota looked that first half.
By the way, the largest.
What's going through your head when you see Luka come out right off the bat and have like 12 points in 2 minutes?
I knew it was going to be a long night for whoever was in front of him, At the end of the day, I just, set a screen, got him downhill. I thought I set a good enough screen, then I turn around, he's shooting from half court and making it. So I was just like, at this point, I don't even need to set a screen for you, brother. So he had it going early, and we just had to, I would say, just piggyback off of the energy he started with. He set the tone, and we just had to really just kind of like follow suit.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah, boy!
The Celtics do not have 3 or 4 guys that can guard Luka. I like Dallas in this series. I like the way they're playing. I think this is a little special for Kyrie, maybe a little special for Porzingis as he plays, because I know he played in Dallas, but I think I like Dallas in this series. So, Shaq, this is, here we had Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert, big men. This is not a big man series. So I'd like to see a big man's point of view about a small ball series. I've been sitting on the floor, and I've been anxious to see Luka. This is like my first time seeing him a lot. Big body, bigger than I thought he was, stronger than I thought he was. Once he gets you on the side, sort of like a big man, he does whatever he wants, plays with poise, and he can't be shook. The fact that he's been a professional player since he's 13 years old, nothing shakes him. I don't see anybody on Boston dealing with that. Maybe Tatum, but if I'm Boston, I don't want to get Tatum or Brown in the foul trouble. And I think the other guys too, Drew Holiday is too little, in my opinion.
You guys obviously last year disappointing, end up in the lottery. To make this leap, what do you think were kind of the key developments to make this happen just in the span of a year?
Insane. I think we got a great team, but most importantly, we got the great guys on the team. From players to coaches to everybody in the team, we have great guys, and that's the most important thing. Like I said, we stay together and we just play basketball. Especially I think we beat 3 very, very, very good teams, and having home advantage, which is pretty good for us.
And your first real deep playoff run, how much did you enjoy just what playoff basketball has to bring?
It's fun, man. I love it. I wish we could still play. I wish we was going back to Dallas for Game 6. But those guys came out and they competed at a high level. And like I said, man, big shout out to them. But it's super fun, and I'm looking forward to being back right in this situation next year.
I still haven't seen anything to make me think the Celtics not going to win the championship.
You've always kind of hedged that with this if Porzingis does play or doesn't play.
What if he doesn't play? What if Porzingis doesn't play? That's a great question, Kenneth.
Thanks, I asked it.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ernie. We got another week. I still like the Celtics.
Without Porzingis?
Without Porzingis, I still like the Celtics. Stan Van Gundy and Reggie said something really important. They got 4 guys that can guard Luka and Kyrie. And Luka and Kyrie can't guard those guys on the other end, in my opinion. So I like the Celtics. I think it's going to be a hell of a series, but I like the Celtics.
I slept on this. I thought about this. It will not work.
Why?
There is no way they can even remotely think about winning a championship together.
Quick message for the fans.
Amazing fans. See y'all soon. Thank you for your support. So, for yourself.
Was there a question there for?
No, I'm just saying. So for yourself.
You guys can talk.
No, for yourself. That was like a free game. That was free game in terms of like. But for you, who will you lean on for that? And saying, like, my mom was the one who stopped. Who's going to stop all of that for you?
Myself.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I got to do it myself.
Chuck?
Short answer, but good.
Yeah, no. Okay, Kevin Durant.
You may have noticed that the finals will start in a place where you used to play, in Boston. You looking forward to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Boston's in the way in between our goals, so that's it, man.
Kyrie, congratulations.
Thank you.
And congratulations to everybody wearing the Mavericks colors tonight. The 2024 Western Conference champions heading to the NBA Finals against Boston. Congratulations, fellas.
Back to the finals, man. Back to the finals, man. I don't take this moment for granted at all. It took me 7 long years. 7 long years, baby. Just to get this one trophy. We got a tough opponent in front of us to get the other one, man. Looking forward to it.
For you personally, growing up watching the NBA from afar, maybe watching the NBA Finals late at night, what does it mean to you to reach this plateau?
I didn't watch because it was 4 in the morning. I couldn't. I had school next day.
What does it mean to you personally to reach this milestone 6 years into your career?
Means a lot, man. Means a lot. It's not easy. It was very hard road, very hard, but we are here. Obviously we're not done. We need 4 more, but I think today we all deserve to enjoy this win.
Jason, when you see that full Luka sicko mode, like Tim referenced, obviously the one that comes to mind is Game 7 against the Phoenix Suns. Does it remind you of that? Does it remind you of other games that you've seen from Luka?
I've seen a lot of games, but Game 7 in Phoenix and this one was very close to that, where he took the crowd out of the game right off the bat. And he let his teammates know that it's time, that we got to take it up a notch, and they joined the party. But he sent the invites out, and they all came, but he was ready to go. And so, as a leader, that's what you need on the road against a very talented team, to let them know that it was going to be hard tonight, and he definitely did that.
What an amazing night, huh?
Amazing. That's it. Well, all we have to do is win one, no matter when.
Kyrie in the second half.
Amazing. You know how it is. Mr. Fourth quarter, Mr. 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters. And overtime.
Just that simple. He had like 3 shots from the logo, so it wasn't pretty much nothing we can do about it.
What's your emotions as the season now comes to an end about what you accomplished and where it fell short?
I just said we'll be back next year.
Do you think this is something that you just have to go through experience to kind of build on?
Unfortunately, it's going through it with a loss, but I guess so.
Feels great, man. Definitely don't take this moment for granted because of how hard we had to work to get here, and we had to earn our spot into the NBA Finals. And we had to go against some great opponents, OKC, Clippers, Wolves, and I feel like they got us better as a team. They really challenged us on the defensive end, made us focus in, and I thanked every single one of them like I did the previous 2 series for making me better. And it has been 7 long years, but it's also felt like the right amount of time, in order to reward myself, be in the locker room with my teammates and enjoying it. A long time coming, so we are going to enjoy this, but we obviously know this is just a pit stop in the journey, and we got to get ready for that court turning gold, as I like to say. The shoes turn gold, the jerseys turn gold, and as a kid, that's what you dream of, getting to is the finals and being able to play against the best of the best with the whole world watching.
What's going through your mind when you see Luka come out? He scores in the first couple of possessions. He's got 12, 2.5 minutes in the game, and he's snarling at the crowd. He's kind of full Luka mode.
He was definitely Luka Magic mode, and just thinking about, is he going to play all 48? Why not if he's going like that? But again, I thought he set the tone, and then he just made it easier for everybody else, and everybody else stepped up.
Do you feel the difference in experience from 2022 to now?
I wouldn't say reverse. I think we have a young team. Outside of Kyrie, Kyrie getting old.
Jason, how satisfying is that when you look back when the trade happened that Kyrie came over and there was a lot of talking. Many people didn't see how the fit is going, to be with the Mavs and to be now in the situation. So how satisfying is that feeling?
Yeah, it's great. We know we still have a lot of work to do, but it's great to have Kai. When you have talent, to be able to have a talented young man like Kai who's playing at a high level, a lot of people missed on it, but it's all right because now they're writing about that it does fit. But those two worked at it. It just didn't happen overnight, and that's a beautiful thing. And so it's all right to be wrong. We're not always right, but it's a beautiful combination. Those two play off of each other, and you can see that they care about one another. They're in competition right now. It's who's playing the best defense, and that's kind of cool to see because when you look at Kai and Luka, a lot of times they're not known for our defensive, guys, but they're competing, and it's fun to see internally, and it's a healthy thing.
Kyrie, you've mentioned many times during this postseason, you've been waiting 7 years to get back to the stage. How does it feel, and especially coming off the way things went last year, after you got to Dallas?
It feels great, man. Definitely don't take this moment for granted because of how hard we had to work to get here, and we had to earn our spot into the NBA Finals. And we had to go against some great opponents, OKC, Clippers, Wolves, and I feel like they got us better as a team. They really challenged us on the defensive end, made us focus in, and I thanked every single one of them like I did the previous two series for making me better. And it has been 7 long years, but it's also felt like the right amount of time, in order to reward myself, be in the locker room with my teammates and enjoying it. A long time coming, so we are going to enjoy this, but we obviously know this is just a pit stop in the journey, and we got to get ready for that court turning gold, as I like to say. The shoes turn gold, the jerseys turn gold, and as a kid, that's what you dream of, getting to is the finals and being able to play against the best of the best with the whole world watching.
This is the biggest stage there is, Kyrie, and this journey will lead you back to a place that was part of a journey in the past. And it's a lengthy layoff, but you get an opportunity to go against a very talented Boston team. I would let you enjoy this and not ask the question now, but this is our one chance to chat before the finals. So just a first thought of what that represents, an opportunity to play against that team.
Yeah, man, I'm at a place in my life where I don't even consider, those past moments. I was able to unpack them in a healthy way, move forward as a person. I had a rough time there when I was in Boston, again, just dealing with death in my family and dealing with a lot of off-court stuff that I wasn't ready to handle. So now that I'm in a great place to be able to vocalize how I'm feeling, I'm ready to go back into Boston and have fun with my teammates. I know we're going to be locked in, and we're going against a great Boston team that has earned their way to the NBA Finals. So I just see them as a formidable opponent, an honest opponent, and we're going to see the best team that wins.
But in Game 5, I must say, it was a very, very disappointing outing for the Minnesota Timberwolves. As the Dallas Mavericks, not only did they come in and win the game, they came in and flat out dominated the Minnesota Timberwolves. So Game 5 was insane. I must say, it was a huge blowout, and the energy that the Dallas Mavericks started with, they went ahead with it from start to finish. And there was no stopping this team. There was no way the Dallas Mavericks were going to let Game 6 happen and go back to Minnesota and potentially a Game 7. So they started off this game scoring 35 points to Minnesota's 19. In the second quarter, we had a 34-21, 34 points for the Dallas Mavericks. And at that point, I just knew when I was watching the game was over. At that point, the game was over, and there was no point of even like trying to root for the Minnesota Timberwolves. This game was just over at the time, because even despite the strong second half from the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Dallas Mavericks already sealed the deal, and they won this game in a 21-point blowout. The final score was 124-103, and handling the Minnesota Timberwolves and giving them a gentleman's sweep, because the sweep was supposed to happen in game 4, but given like the way the Minnesota Timberwolves played at the clutch, the Dallas Mavericks had to play and had to stomp them in game 5. So Luka Doncic was in his element, hitting shots from everywhere on the court, hushing the crowd and flashing those sly smiles as the Dallas Mavericks delivered a knockout performance. So the Minnesota Timberwolves, they had to take this loss at home, and it was so sad. It was such a sad state of affairs for the Timberwolves fans. So now one of the global sports young superstars gets his first trip to the NBA Finals. It was a long time coming. The last time Luka Doncic, he knocked on that door was in 2022, but he got stomped on by the eventual champions Golden State Warriors. And it was a relatively short series, and it ended in 5 games as the Warriors beat the Dallas Mavericks in 2022 West Finals in 5 games. But in this case, it was Luka Doncic who was doing the same thing, and it was so beautiful to see that. So Luka Doncic, he had 20 points. He had a 20-point first quarter on his way to 36 points for his high this postseason, and the Dallas Mavericks beat the Minnesota Timberwolves 124-103 on Thursday night to breeze through the West Finals and go ahead to the NBA Finals in 5 games. So Coach Jason Kidd, he came out and said he let his teammates know that it's time and they've got to take it up a notch. So he also added he sent the invites out and they all came. So Kyrie Irving also scored 36 points for the Mavericks, who built a 29-point halftime lead on 61% shooting to deflate the once energized crowd. Most fans got up and just left. I mean, and they just left because it was so one-sided. The Mavs went up by 36 in the third quarter, consistently keeping the Timberwolves offense all out of whack because of that defense. So at the time, even the second quarter kicked off, not even second quarter, the second half, the game was already done and dusted because they were just setting in for a blowout. So it was such a coming out performance. It was a very good performance for the Dallas Mavericks team. Very poor performance from the Minnesota Timberwolves. And having the season ending like that, it was just insane. So Kyrie Irving, he came out and said, I just had that utmost confidence when I was going to sleep last night and went to shoot-arounds in the morning, just feeling like we are going to play one of our best games. And so they did. So the Mavs, the number 5 seed in the West, complete the upset on the Timberwolves and have a full week rest before the NBA Finals, beginning in Boston on June 6th for their franchise first appearance since 2011 when we had Dirk Nowitzki's run to the NBA Finals. So it has been a long time coming for the Dallas Mavericks. The Celtics will have 10 days between the games after they swept the Indiana Pacers in the conference finals. So Anthony Edwards, he scored 28 points, and Karl Anthony Towns had 28 points and 12 rebounds for the third-seeded Wolves, who met their match with the defensive duo of Luka Doncic, the defense-smashing duo of Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, after stifling Phoenix in the first-round sweep and dethroning the defending champions at Denver Nuggets in a 7-game series. So given like the way the Dallas Mavericks have just been on a tear, they went ahead and beat the Clippers in 6 games. They went ahead and beat the OKC Thunder in 6, and they went ahead and beat the Timberwolves in 5 games. So it was, I must say, it was such a good performance. And you could even see Anthony Edwards. He came out even and said, we've never clicked all together as a team in this series, not even one game. So the last 2 series, we were all clicking at one time, making shots and stuff. It wasn't clicking at one time here. So I must say, the Minnesota Timberwolves were not ready for a Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving scoring duo, and they were not ready for them at all. And it's just so evident to see how unprepared they were, because their game plan for the Phoenix Suns was solid and they swept them. their game plan to handle Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, the three-time MVP, was stellar, but they're not ready for an athletic backcourt like a Luka Doncic and Kyrie, and it was so difficult to be able to guard them, and that's the reason as to why they lost in 5 games. So Kyrie Irving improved to a 15-1 record in his career in closeout games in the playoffs. I know a lot of people were saying, that record is done when they lost in Game 4, but Kyrie, it doesn't matter the record. The only thing that matters is that Larry O'Brien trophy. So Luka Doncic set a defiant tone by starting 4-4, hitting rainbows from 28 and 31 feet, and he went ahead and even trash talk the fans in courtside, and he was just in his zone. And he also said, that gets me going. Everybody knows that by now. So he just feeds off that energy, especially snatching the hearts of the other players' soul when he's on the road. And there's no stopping him at all. And with Doncic, he thrives in those moments. And he also went ahead and even drained a 37-footer later in the first quarter as the Mavs closed a 17-1 spot around the push to 28-5 over a 9-minute stretch. So Luka Doncic, he thrives in those situations, and that's the reason as to why he's good at what he does. So the Dallas Mavericks, they are headed to the NBA Finals. They're going to match up against the Boston Celtics, and they're going to have a few rest days before the first game, before tip-off, and that's going to be in June 6th. And I'll just be waiting on that one. And I'll also come back with a video talking about preview on what to expect in Dallas Mavericks versus the Boston Celtics. And yeah, man. So this video, I know it has been long. I've been adding also some players and also the coaches just talking in this video. But hey, it is what it is. So if you guys like the video, make sure to leave your feedback down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. And I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Peace out.